So the president has just tweeted, he says, quote, Biden can only enter the White House as president if he can prove that his ridiculous 80 million votes were not fraudulently or illegally obtained. When you see what happened in Detroit, Atlanta, Philadelphia, and Milwaukee, massive voter fraud, he's got a big unsolvable problem. And I think that's right. I think that's the right way to approach this. You look at the way that the media is covering this. We've got a lot of ground to cover here. So you look at this. Let's start off by the way the media is covering this. It's the current chyron behind you is Trump falsely claims victory with fantasy conspiracies. I forget what day it is now. On Wednesday, when the Flynn news came out, CNN wouldn't even cover it for the first hour after everybody else was covering it, sticking instead with the chyrons that just said things like this: fantasy, conspiracy theories, nonsense, etc. But what they'll never do is they'll never address the point that is being made. And there's several points that are being made as they break down. Number one, 80 million votes, right? 80 million votes for Joe Biden.
Give me a break.
Obama
at the top of his game, and Obama, whether you like Obama or not, in particular our audience, he's a charismatic, historically important figure. Okay,
right.
And Joe Biden blows through that. Was sitting in the basement with Jill feeding him the processed Gerber peas.
Now that, to me, is a fantasy conspiracy, right? that is fantastical by the definition of the word. The other thing that they won't ever address, and they can address the tweets, and they can address Sidney Powell and some typographical errors and things like that, but they'll never address the mathematics. They'll never allow anybody on their air to drill down into what the data shows. They'll never put one of the graphs that we've put on air.
But they're going to have to. That day's coming, ladies and gentlemen. That day, that's the forcing function. Here's the big shift right here with the president. This is the first time, and I'm glad they're watching War and Pandemic, they put the onus back on Biden. Biden will never be a legitimate president of the United States. He will never be a legal president of the United States. We are heading towards a constitutional crisis in this country if the mainstream media and Wall Street and the Democratic Party and the most radical people they've got continue to force this. Joe Biden, if he wants to bring the country together, don't give me some happy talk on Thanksgiving Day about unity. Action, action, action. And the president just put him on it. You've got to come out now and show that this criminal activity in Wisconsin, the criminal activity in Atlanta, right, in Fulton County, is number one, either didn't happen or you had nothing to do with it. So the president, the big shift in this tweet is he's now going really on offense. Put it back on Biden. Biden can't sit there and going, I'm the unity guy. And we started the show with the cold open with CNN saying he used to be gaff-ridden, but now he's a steady Eddie. He's a steady voice. No, he's not. And here's the reason. Mainstream media, this is not baseless because we have the receipts. This has to be solved. And we're the ones from day one that saying we have to work together as a country. You want to unify the country? Let's just get down to the legal votes. Let's get down to the certifiable votes. Let's get down to the votes that have chain of custody. Whoever wins in that regards is the next president of the United States. If that's Joe Biden, we'll be the first guys to say, hey, look, Biden won it, right? Tough fight. Very tough fight, but Biden won it. But it's got to be legal. It's got to be certifiable. It has to have chain of custody. And you're not going to make us go away. Saying this is baseless, saying this is a conspiracy. We now know from the polling, and The Hill had it in their buried lead on Wednesday, or actually yesterday, that virtually 0% now of the Trump vote is 74 million Americans are united in one cause. And that is, this has been illegal, this has been stolen from us, and we're not going to allow it to happen. The media is still so much in the orange man bad. This is not about the orange man. This is not about orange man bad. This is more important than Trump. He understands that. His supporters understand that. We are fighting for this republic. We are fighting for the Constitution. We're fighting for the people that we came before us at Gettysburg that we owe this to. And we're holding the line, and we will not back down 1 inch. And that's what they have to understand. And I got to tell you where it's being shown. It's being shown by patriots in Wisconsin. It's being shown by patriots in Georgia. It's being shown by patriots in Arizona. And once one falls, they're all going to fall, right? Because it's the same grift, Raheem.
And, there's a broader, I think, public appetite for recounts here as well. There is a lot of data out there that suggests that it goes beyond the Trump base, actually, to support the recounts and to support the full process out there. Let's take us back to 1808, what Thomas Jefferson says. 1,000 phenomena present themselves daily which we cannot explain, but where facts are suggested bearing no analogy with the laws of nature as yet known to us, their verity needs proofs proportioned to their difficulty, right? It's Sagan's standard. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Joe Biden and the national media is making an extraordinary claim. And here's the deal. This is why the president's tweet from just a moment ago is so important. It shifts the onus of the burden of proof. It shifts it onto Biden.
We've been saying this for weeks. Go back and read that tweet again. This is important. This is an inflection point, ladies and gentlemen. You know why? Because Wisconsin's coming in. Okay, now you shift the narrative. Read that tweet again from the president.
Quote, Biden can only enter the White House as president if he can prove that his ridiculous 80 million votes were not fraudulently or illegally obtained. When you see what happened in Detroit, Atlanta, Philadelphia, and Milwaukee, massive voter fraud, he's got a big unsolvable problem, end quote. And here's for the people out there who are watching this, and I know we have a lot of audience on the other side who are watching this and going, no, you're making the extraordinary claim. No, the burden of proof is on you. Well, actually, our side is amassing a massive load of evidence and publishing that evidence on a daily basis, where there are thousands of affidavits, everything else that's coming out, the Wisconsin and the Michigan and the Pennsylvania. You've got a number of websites, everylegalvote.com, Kevin Freeman, the Economic War Room guys. You've got our side clearly attempting and getting into that evidentiary. It's our own form of discovery, behind all of this. But here's the other answer to it. No, it's not us making the extraordinary claims. Actually, it's us making the claims that are based on reality and history. Actually, it's us that are making the claims based on your claims, the Transition Integrity Project's original claims, the book that they rely on so heavily, Ballot Battles, which I think I was the only one who bothered to actually buy and go through and look at how they were going to make and classify their arguments on the run-up to and in the immediate aftermath of the election. We can go through more of Ballot Battles and what it contains in there. And then the other contingent part of that is, does voter fraud happen? Does it happen when there are mass mail-in ballots? And did anybody warn us about that? And the answer to those things is yes. So we do not have, there are no extraordinary claims being made on our side. Our claims are being made from the position of proof, evidence, science, data, and history.
Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. That's Sagan's dictum. I like that.